We are Cory and Wallace, an early retired couple on a full-time journey around the world. With a passion for exploring new cultures, discovering hidden gems, and enjoying delicious local food, we are on a mission to experience as much of the world as we can.
Good morning from Brasov.
We are heading to our meeting point today. We are taking a tour, and we are going to go see some castles this morning in Brasov. And normally we don't love doing tours, but we no longer have our international driving permits, so we can't rent a car. And to see what we want to see, this was the easiest way to do it. So we booked a tour today through Get Your Guide.
Yeah, you could take the train. I think we looked it up. You could take the train and then take a bus and get to Brasov Castle.
Bran Castle.
Bran Castle, no problem. The problem is it's raining, and we didn't really know the bus schedule, and we just figured a tour. This way we get a couple of castles, we get umbrellas, and we get a guaranteed ride home, which we were unsure of for the other route. So that's why we chose this.
So we're going to head on over to Old Town to meet our tour group, and we're going to bring you guys along today to see a couple of Romanian castles. We've joined up with our tour group, and now we are in a van and driving to Bran Castle, which I'm guessing should take about an hour or so. And we'll see what the day brings. It's cloudy, but it hasn't started raining yet, so fingers crossed.
In the case of Brasov, Bran, where we go now. Famous as Dracula's Castle, but in reality, it was a border crossing fortress built by the city of Brasov by the Saxons to defend Transylvania's entrance. In our tour today, we will see later on a 1600s church, pretty much the time of the cross that we see there. And then we see a late 1800s castle, Peleș Castle. So we cover a good amount of Romania's history, even architecture.
We are now wandering around in Bran Castle. Our tour guide has cut us loose because they're not allowed to guide tours through here. This is actually privately owned. It is owned by the cousins of Queen Marie of Romania. And so admission here was 90 lei per person. And yeah, it's morning right now, so it's not too busy. It's like 9:30 in the morning and it's pretty quiet still. Bran Castle was built between 1377 and finished in 1382, I believe. And it was originally a fortress to guard the entrance to this valley that separates Transylvania and Romania. So it was basically put here to just protect, the passageway between these two historical regions. Today it is a privately owned, essentially museum. Before that, I think after World War I, it became the summer residence of Queen Marie of Romania. And after World War II, when communism basically took over this area, it was converted for administrative government use. But since 2009, it has been open as a museum. So we get to wander around all these levels of this old castle and go explore. Lots of little stairways here. So even though Bran Castle is associated with Dracula or Vlad Dracul or Vlad the Impaler, Vlad the Impaler never resided here. He may never even have visited here. The reason that the castle is famous is because Bram Stoker, when he wrote Dracula, he had never actually visited Romania, as far as I understand, but he had read a description of the castle, and so he used it as the fictional, like Dracula's castle in his novel, and that is ultimately why it became associated with the Dracula myth. But other than that, basically most of the castle is dedicated to Queen Marie. All the exhibits, all the artifacts here are from her reign. I'm guessing a tour bus showed up because it got really busy all of a sudden. Also, those last few rooms, we didn't really film much because it was super cheesy. There was like exhibits talking about werewolves and vampires, and like a whole room dedicated to Count Dracula, the movie. Totally not the reason you should come here, because that has nothing to do with this castle in reality.
Hey. This dog is so sweet. Hi.
As usual with these places, lots of touristy gift shops, and actually, you know what? They are all gift shops now that I'm looking at it. I think there's a couple of food vendors and a bakery over there as well, but it's exactly what you'd expect in front of a main tourist attraction.
Peleș Castle, 130 rooms it has in total, of which 30 are bathrooms. It is the most modern castle of its time. It's the first in the world, thanks to the age it was built, the first in the world to be built with electricity. Not added, built from planning. Built with electricity, central heating, ventilation, hot and cold water, sewage system, electricity, of course led to telephone, telegraph, elevator, even a central vacuum cleaning system it had. So it is by far, until today, probably the most modern royal residence. Dominantly the style of the castle is German Neo-Renaissance. But every room, as we move on, it's a surprise in style, the king wanted all the important European, and not only European, cultures and architecture represented in Peleș Castle. But here, this hall is the most complex in woodwork by far. It consists of more than 4,000 unique images sculptured in walnut, madera de nogat. Two important personalities for Peleș. First, holding the work on his shoulders, chief decorator Bernard Ludwig was Austrian, and overlooking his work or his project here is chief architect Karel Lima. One character is similar to another. It's extremely difficult to realize. And then it's more. It's inlaid wood. Inlaid wood, marqueteria, inlaid wood, inlaid wood. But all the fireplaces in the castle are just decorative. So they have central heating, so no use for fire, smoke, of course. Battle weapons and some ceremonial we will see on the way. And these are French. Fleur de Lis is the dynasty of Anjou's coat of arms. L'escudo della dinastia di Anjou. These are Italian. Here are Spanish, the conquistador. Behind us are mostly German or Northern European. And I want to point out the beautiful collection of halberds. So here is a very nice mini statue of Queen Elizabeth taking care of the injured soldiers in the First World War. The king, circa 40 years of age, painted by George Peter Alexander Keeley, American painter. He does a lot of portraitistic for them. An amphora, it's a gift of the king's 70th birthday. from the royal jewelry. It is made of silver with precious stones. And his pride, Peleș Castle, bas-relief. And to the left, very famous in Romania, the painting by the same George Peter Healy of Queen Elizabeth, holding her daughter Marie on her back, on her shoulders. It's a beautiful painting, but terribly sad for the family because the daughter passed away at the age of 4. So this painting was done posthumously. To ensure the continuity of the monarchy, they adopt a nephew of the king. Ferdinand, the second king of Romania, was adopted through a constitutional vote, appointed the successor of the royal crown. This is a change of woodwork here. It's instead of predominantly walnut, this is oak, roble predominant. Present fairy tales that the queen wrote in memory of her daughter. Notice that all the thematic is sad. Yes, passing away. Yeah, but chosen for the sun to pass through them. Yes,
and as you say, the sun
exactly, to give color to the room. Yeah, and up also the frieze are original paintings of Dora Hitz, German painter. So, notice the change. We have changed from Germany or Renaissance into Italy. So we are in Florence. Center composition of the room is a replicas of the Medici's family's tomb of Luigi de' Medici from Florence. Also the furniture. It's ebony with inlaid polychrome marble.
So we are currently in Peleș Castle, and this place is absolutely bonkers beautiful. Like, wow.
Yeah, it's a lot to take in. We have an amazing tour guide. Thankfully, we're a very small group, but we're still moving way too fast. And I don't think that's the guide's fault. I think there's a time limit because he kept saying, like, there's a time slot that we can enter the castle. So it seems like everything has a time slot.
Yes, it's timed entry, and it's like a one-way route through the castle, so you can't go back and go backtrack through areas you've been before. But this place is absolutely amazing. The woodwork is so ornate, as you can see in the video footage. So Peleș Castle was built in 1873, between 1873 and 1914, and it's actually one of the most modern castles. It was built with electricity, with central heating and ventilation. There was a central vacuum system built in. There was hot and cold running water. So it's very modern in that respect, but just amazingly beautiful in here.
Yeah, it's honestly just mind-blowing. There's so much to take in. And I asked the tour guide, I'm like, does it ever get old to come here? And he's like, nope. I think every time you come, you're going to discover something new. That is just so intricate.
Yeah, like this is by far the busiest tourist site we've been to so far in Romania, and that is absolutely 100% deserved. This place is probably the highlight of our trip to Romania, I would say. Like, It is that beautiful here. So if you're anywhere in Romania, Peleș Castle is definitely somewhere to come visit.
Yeah, one of the guys on our tour said this is his third attempt to come here, and he had no idea what he was missing.
At any rate, we are now on the second floor, which is like the apartments and stuff like that. It's not the official, like throne rooms and, those kind of areas. Our guide has now cut us loose to wander a bit and go wander outside and see the grounds. So we're going to do that. And I don't know, we're not going to be able to talk too much because it's just, it's hard to find a quiet spot to do that. But you can just see from the video how incredibly beautiful this place is.
It's really, really, really hard to capture. Like, I'm trying, but I don't think the video is going to do it any justice.
So actually here it was another saloon, because we are already, and you can see already from here, you can see the imperial apartment. It is the apartment where the king it was spending his time with his wife, with the queen.
So for the art historians, the paintings on either wall here, as well as that fresco above, these are all original Gustav Klimt paintings. He was a famous Austrian painter.
All I can really say is, wow.
Yeah, that pretty much sums it up. This place is incredible. If we hadn't made that clear before, definitely come here. It is stupid busy here. Don't get me wrong. It is like absolutely packed full of people, and justifiably so. This is absolutely gorgeous and worth seeing, but it does make it a little challenging to actually take it all in because it's just crowded and you're kind of being herded through the castle. You can't backtrack through. But even with all those issues, it's still absolutely worth seeing. Admission here was 100 lei per person, which is honestly not that bad. Yeah.
So our guide was saying in the summertime, book early. It will book out really fast.
Like it sells out days in advance.
Yeah, so don't delay. If you know you're coming here and you know that this is something you want to do, jump on booking it because you won't regret it.
Yeah, even today, it is a Friday. It's shoulder season here in early-ish mid-October, and our guide did. Our tour company actually pre-bought the tickets for today to make sure that they weren't sold out by the time we got here. So,
which they were by the time we got here. So if that's any indication, and this is considered a slow day comparatively.
Yeah. But yeah, it's incredible. There's lots to see in there. There's lots of history here. Lots of all the signage has English as well, so you can learn stuff as you go. Again, it was really hard to actually get in and read everything because it was so crowded today. So it is what it is. But yeah, I think we are now going to make our way back to the van to meet up with the group. And we've got one more stop today, which is the Sinaia Monastery.
So this was built in 1690 by a prince of Wallachia, we will enter and see. And the new church was built by King Karl. So during the construction of Peleș, he offers the community its new church. So 1903, 1690, 1695. Let's go. Very small because it was a community small up in a forest, imagine. Not even a road in the 1600s here. It was a path over the mountains, on the river valley, down. Virgin Mary, the Assumption of Virgin Mary, protected by Michael, cutting the hands of evil, see, shown as an Ottoman soldier, symbolism. And all the scene takes place under Constantinople, the holy city of Orthodoxy of the Eastern Roman Empire, conquered by the Ottomans in 1453. Michael and Gabriel, same as they were protecting Peleș Castle, if you noticed. On the center part of the main hall were two statues of Michael and Gabriel. So inside only the priest can enter. So he exits from the altar and he brings the message of divinity to the people who would be staying here outside. The mass is standing, takes place. The seats are reserved only for the ones that cannot stand, for age, health, could be disabled. Yes.
Still true today.
Still true today. And the fire didn't. Of course, all the church was restored in 1972, if I'm not wrong. Yes. So this is the monastery of Sinai, coming from Mount Sinai, the Monte Sinai, because the builder did a pilgrimage on Mount Sinai.
We are here at the Sinaia Monastery, which you can see behind me. The old monastery there was built in 1690, and it was built by King Carol I, who was the first king of Romania. Of course, you know, the Peleș Castle we just left was the royal family's summer residence, and they built a monastery here in town for the villagers to worship at. And there is a new monastery just on the other side of the wall over there, which we'll go see in a second, but this is the original that was built, like I said, in 1690.
It's incredibly dark in the newer church, so unfortunately I don't know how much is going to come through. We'll post what we got.
Yeah, GoPro unfortunately not very good for low light, but it is pretty in there. But honestly, the old cathedral, way more beautiful. The frescoes in there, way more colorful. Now they have been repainted. There was fire damage at one point, so it's all been repainted and restored. But yeah, the old cathedral is really, really beautiful. And yeah, overall, what do you think of today?
I think it is 100% worth it. We'll put a link in the description of the tour that we did. Highly recommend. It's a really small group. The tour guide was amazing.
Yes, Florine, our tour guide, very knowledgeable, spoke English, speaks Spanish, and was really, really good today for us and gave us a lot of information that we wouldn't have known otherwise. And yeah, bottom line is definitely worth seeing, these places. If I had to pick one destination today, Peleș Castle, hands down, is the must-do activity. If you have to pick one or the other, skip Bran Castle, go to Peleș Castle.
Yeah. I was talking to the guide, and he said he's been to Peleș Castle hundreds of times, and he's still finding new things in there. That gives you an idea of the scale of intricacy.
Yeah, absolutely. So anyways, we are about to hop back in the van and make our way back to Brașov. So I think we're going to end the video there. We hope you've enjoyed the tour of Bran Castle and Peleș Castle with us today. If you did, please hit the thumbs up to give us a like and make sure you subscribe.
And join us in our other videos for more adventures. Until then, stay curious and keep exploring.